your hands and ask. Look at these images. Okay, look at this image, the photos. Now, different facial expressions. It talks 1,000 words. It talks 1,000 words. Okay, it talks 1,000 words. And remember, you being a presenter, without uttering a single word in front of the audience, if you stand up, people judge you. People judge you by looking at your body language. People judge you by the way you manage your eyes, by the way you manage your smile, the way you manage your facial expressions. People will judge you. The way you move here and there, the way you look at like this, the way you do your gestures and the postures, where you do like this, people will judge you. Without uttering a single word, it talks 1,000 words. So you got to be careful. So these are the dimensions we are going to talk about, your personal dimensions, your personal dimensions. We very unlikely people think about it. Api dakala tiyenawa even, okay, the people, I mean, I'm not saying the laymen, so I'm not saying the beginners. We have seen top professionals, those who are coming for the presentations, those who are planning, those who are starting to do the presentation. They're highly worried about the slides or whatever the props or whatever the materials, and not worried about themselves, which is completely wrong. Which is completely wrong. So that is why I said, okay, if even without you uttering a single word, your entire physique talks 1,000 words. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful. So our presentations, what we do, as I said earlier, in business, 80% what we do is communication. Whatever the way. Ara office එකේ ගිහිලා chat box වගේ කතා කර ඉන්න එක නෙමෙයි මම මේ කියන්නේ. I'm talking about the business. Okay, I'm talking about the business. 80% of your activities, if you really look at, you're communicating. You're communicating. So in the sense, you're either verbal, either written, or whatever the way you are communicating. So the presentation also comes there. Presentation also comes there. So you should be stronger in that if you are to make your communication pretty successful, especially for the people, those who are in the management level, my dear friends, management level, this is a crucial skill. This is a crucial skill. Now we got to identify there are 3 different type of presentation. I mean, the personality is what we see in presentations. Okay, 3 different type of personalities what we identify. Okay, in these presentations we can identify 3 different types of personalities. 3. What are these 3? Can anyone tell me what are these 3? What type of? Okay, without asking that question, let me tell you this. We see some are working as trainers in your organizations. Sometimes you might be facing for trainers outside. Some are working as facilitators. Some are working as just presenters. But whenever you do, sometimes you combine all these things and do the presentation. But if we fail to identify what type of a role I'm going to play with this presentation, you will fail the entire structure. You will fail the entire output. So you got to have a clear idea about, am I trying to be a facilitator? Am I trying to be a trainer? Am I gonna play the presenter role? If I know what I'm gonna do, then I structure my presentation in a way which is giving the 100% output into that. So you got to have a clear idea on it. So how do we differentiate these 3? How are we going to differentiate these 3? So what do you mean by the trainer? What do you mean by the facilitator? What do you mean by the presenter? Can someone tell me? Okay, let's take one. Nishant Pereira. වැරදුනට කමන්නේ. Okay, වරදුනට කමන්නේ නිශාන්ත පෙරේරා. අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අහලා තියෙන නිශාන්ත පෙරේරාලානේ. මෙතන ඉන්නවා නිශාන්ත පෙරේරා. I don't know. නිශාන්ත ආයුධය. නිශාන්තවා ඉන්නවද? නිශාන්ත, you got to talk. කතා කරමු අපි. ලක්ෂිත නිශාන්තට උඩින් ඉන්නවා. මට අහු වෙනවා ලක්ෂිත. ලක්ෂිතවා ඉන්නවද? ලක්ෂිත. ඇයි මේ? Y'all have paid and joined this program. Utilize it. Use me. I'm telling y'all, please. Harshana Shan. Harshana, yes. Harshana Shan. Are you there? Yes, who is this? Harshana Shan, are you there? Okay, Darshana Sandaruwan. Now, දැන් මේ මම ඕගොල්ලෝන්ගෙන් මෙහෙම ප්‍රශ්න අහන එක ඕගොල්ලන්ට uncomfortableද? හා? ඕගොල්ලන්ට uncomfortableද මෙහෙම ප්‍රශ්න අහන එක? Be comfortable. ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. Right? කිසිම විදියකට අප්සෙට් එකක් ගන්න එපා. දන්න දේ දන්න විදිහට කිව්වා නොදන්න අපි come on, we came here to learn something new, no? Right? ඕගොල්ලන් presentation skills වලින් genius ලා නම් you would have not been here today. So perfectly okay. Yeah, who is this gentleman or lady? Who is this? Okay, Aditi. Okay, we'll take Aditi. Aditi, can you see the screen? Aditi, can you see the screen?
Excuse me, sir. I'm very sorry.
Yes, Nishant. Okay, Nishant. Super. ඔයාගේ නම නිශාන්තද නිශාන්තද?
Nishant. NESHANT.
Okay, අපි දැකලා තියෙන N නයිලා N නීලා මම දැක්ක පළවෙනි පාර. Okay, Nishant. Now
Yes.
tell me, as per your understanding. Now you can see the screen now. 3.
Yes.
Trainer, facilitator, presenter. ඔයා මේ තුන කොහොමද අඳුරගන්නේ? කවුද trainer කියලා කියන්නේ? Who is the facilitator? Who is the presenter? How do you differentiate these three? What do you think? වැරදුනට කමන්නේ, right? I don't need the 100% correct answer. You might go wrong, perfectly okay.
The one who's standing is the trainer.
No. Don't look by the image. I'm just telling, okay, it doesn't have a direct relationship with the image. I mean to say, trainer, facilitator, and the presenter. 3 words.
Yeah.
3 words. When you look at these 3 words, okay? trainer කෙනෙක් කියන්නේ කොයි වගේ කෙනෙක්ද? අපි මේ කරන්න යන්නේ මොකද අපි සමහර වෙලාවට we sometimes play a role of a trainer inside the organization. We sometimes play a role of a facilitator inside the organization. Sometimes just a presenter inside the organization. But if we don't know the difference, if we have a question mark of these 3, අන්න ඒකයි අපි බලන්න. පුළුවන් ද idea එකක් ගන්න? Bit of a challenging. Perfectly okay. වෙන කවුරුහරි දන්නේ කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවද? වෙන කවුරු හරි ඕගොල්ලෝගේ ideas දා. Big if I
Dilshan here.
Yes, Dilshan, go ahead.
Trainer, I think someone like you teaching something new.
Okay, right.
Presenter is, I think, someone presenting something, some presentations or something what you prepare and present. Trainer is something like you to train something new.
Okay. So what about the facilitator in that case?
Facilitator, I think someone arrange something to someone or give some ideas.
Okay.
To do something.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dilshan. So anyone else? We'll take another one. If someone any volunteers? Any volunteers? I will go back to my very first slide since Dilshan. Yes, Harshana, go ahead. Yes, Harshana, go ahead. Harshana, you have raised your hands. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Facilitator is a person who helps a group of people to work together.
Okay, superb. So what about the trainer and the presenter?
Trainer is the person who conduct the program or the presentation.
Okay. Then the presenter.
Presenter is the one who present.
Okay, very good. Guys, we'll give a clap for all these three. I mean, Nishant, right? Deshan, Dilshan, and Harshana. Thank you very much. Right. Now, see, if someone noticed, I will go back to my very first slide and come back again. How did I explain myself here? Facilitator. Now we'll see why. And most of the people say, yes, I'm a trainer. Here in this particular scenario, I'm telling you, in this particular scenario, I'm telling you, I mentioned myself as a facilitator. Why? Look at the meaning of these three definitions. If we don't get the real idea about what you are trying to do, you will not be able to do it effectively. So who is a trainer? Now, if I ask you all a question, right? If I ask y'all a question, I know for sure there may be people, those who are very much comfortable in doing the presentation, okay, and those who know how to do a presentation, but you don't have, just because you don't have, I mean, the experience, you can't do. Trainer is a person who is highly knowledgeable than the audience. So do you feel that you and I have a huge gap like this? No, I don't see. I don't see. Because now the very first time the person who was talking from Expo Lanka, he said he's doing the presentations already. I think if I'm not mistaken, Tuan said he's doing the presentations to the top management. So do we have a huge gap in it? So he might be missing certain things because since it is not his core area, he might be missing certain skills that is needed. But trainer is a person who is having a higher skill than the entire audience. Trainer is kind of a coach. Cricket වෙන්න පුළුවන් මොනවා හරි ස්පෝර්ට් එකක වෙන්න පුළුවන් ඒ වගේ වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඉන්ජිනියරින් සයිඩ් එකේ සබ්ජෙක්ට් එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Okay, so that type of a person, or else let's say as an example, okay, trainer can be even considered as a lecturer who is in a university. Why? There's a huge gap, knowledge gap between the audience and the trainer. Is highly knowledgeable. So that is why the audience is really focusing on him to get those knowledge into them. So that type of a person is a trainer. So then who is the facilitator? Look at this. Now what am I going to do here? Am I going to speak alone? What am I going to do? I'm trying to take certain things from you and develop the entire session. Make the entire session okay. You may be comfortable in doing nice looking presentation slides better than all the other presenters here. You may be really good in handling your tonality and the voice better than other people in the your company or even in your school or wherever. You may be comfortable in doing the speech, even whether it is right or wrong, in front of n number of audience, immaterial to the size of the audience. You all have already these skills. What do I do here? I just unearth those skills and pump some more skills into it. And I try to make your job easy. And I try to make your job easy by doing this session. So more than a trainer's role, in this case, in this scenario, I'm playing a facilitator role for you all. Get the meaning, okay? Sometimes in your office, in one scenario, you may be working as a facilitator, and the same for the same audience, you may be a trainer in the next time. This is the difference we need to look at. And also for the same audience, you may be just a presenter. You may be just a presenter. You deliver a speech on whatever particular subject. An audience is there listening to you. If it is good, they will continue listening by looking at you like this, by giving the 100% attention. If not, they will move away from you. They will start using their mobiles or whatever. So trainer, presenter, facilitator, ඒ මොන රෝල් එකද මම ප්ලේ කරන්න කියන එක අපි හරියට දැනගත්තේ නැත්නම් අපිට බැරි වෙනවා අපේ ස්ට්‍රක්චර් එක හදාගෙන යන්න. දැන් මම හිතුවනම් මෙතන ඇවිල්ලා. I remember මම හිතුවනම් නෑ මෙතන ඉන්නවා දැන් කී දෙනෙක් ඉන්නවද? මෙතන ඉන්නවා okay let's see මෙතන 20ක් ඉන්නවා. මේ කෙනෙක්වත් මන් තරම් මේ presentation skills දන්නේ මම තමයි trainer. ආගෙන ඉන්න ඔක්කොම ටික right ඔන්න මේ විදිහට තමයි presentation එකක් කරන්නේ. You can't do that. That is not the role of a facilitator. That is, I mean, I'm trying to take only to my side and do it, which is completely wrong in this type of a thing. But let's say as example, if someone of you seated in one of my technical presentation, I could have said, hey, look here guys, this is how it happens. I know you guys are not comfortable with it. So this is how the technical things are happening. So you have to do like this. These are the devices. This is how it is connected and all these things. I do. This is the entire solution comes. So once the solution design, you have to get connected with all these parties like that I do. Why? Because nobody knows that particular subject. It's pretty technical. It's pretty engineering. So nobody knows. So because of that, there I'm doing a role of a trainer, but here I'm doing a role of a facilitator. So you got to identify that before you do anything else. මොකද අපේ behavioral science එක, අපේ tonality එක, අපේ voice modulation එක, අපේ I mean approach එක, slide management එක, structure එක, it's completely changed, completely different depending on these three roles that you are playing. So you got to be careful. So when it comes for a business presentation, sometimes you might use all three. සමහර වෙලාවට අපි facilitate එකම presentation එක ඇතුලේ මේ roles තුනම play කරන වෙලාවලුත් තියෙනවා. If it is a business presentation where you got to talk about numbers, where you got to educate the team, where you got to talk about okay certain things where with your future plans, or else maybe let's say as example you talk about certain stories about the past what you have done and all these things. You are playing the role of facilitator, presenter, and the trainer. So this is what we need to identify as the very first thing in presentation skills. Any questions? Any questions?